God took care of the needs of the Israelites while they were in the desert. But when the time came to take them into the promised land, Moses and Aaron would not be allowed to go in. And they wouldn't be allowed to go in by God. Why wouldn't they be allowed in? Well, that's what we're going to learn in this video. Hello, I'm Kathy Bartow. The Israelites were in the desert 40 years because 10 Israelite tribe leaders didn't believe God's promise that he would take them safely into the land flowing with milk and honey. These 10 men had convinced the people that the land God wanted them to have was just too dangerous to take. They didn't believe that God would ensure their safety. They didn't put their trust in God. All those who agreed with these 10 men ended up dying in the desert during the 40 years. Only Caleb and Joshua, the 2 tribe leaders who did put their trust in God, would enter into the promised land. Listen to how God promised this land flowing with milk and honey to Moses when Moses was talking with God in the burning bush. This was in Exodus. This is the same land that God told Abraham about in Genesis. Here's Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. Then the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Moses was chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, where they had been enslaved for 430 years to the day. Moses met with God face to face and talked with him in the tent of meeting during the 40 years in the wilderness. After this close relationship, what did Moses do to earn such disfavor with God? Well, it occurred just before they entered the promised land. Miriam, the sister to both Moses and Aaron, had just died. Immediately after she died, the Israelites got angry with Moses and Aaron because both the people and the cattle were in desperate need of water. Listen to Numbers chapter 20, verses 2 through 13. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled themselves together against Moses and against Aaron. And the people quarreled with Moses and said, Would that we had perished when our brothers perished before the Lord. Why have you brought the assembly of the Lord into this wilderness, that we should die here, both we and our cattle? And why have you made us come up out of Egypt to bring us to this evil place? It is no place for grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there's no water to drink. Then Moses and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting and fell on their faces. And the glory of the Lord appeared to them. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take the staff and assemble the congregation, you and Aaron your brother, and tell the rock before their eyes to yield its water. So you shall bring water out of the rock for them, and give drink to the congregation and their cattle. And Moses took the staff from before the Lord, as he commanded him. Then Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock, and he said to them, Hear now, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock with his staff twice, and water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their livestock. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, Because you did not believe in me, to uphold me as holy in the eyes of the people of Israel, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. What did Moses and Aaron do wrong? Well, Moses struck the rock twice, most likely because he and Aaron were angry. Instead of peaceably speaking to it as God had instructed them to do to produce water for both man and beast. Listen to Numbers chapter 20, verse 8 again. This is the Lord speaking. Take the rod, and you and your brother Aaron assemble the congregation and speak to the rock before their eyes, that it may yield its water. You shall thus bring forth water for them out of the rock, and let the congregation and their beasts drink. Moses did not speak to the rock. Moses struck the rock twice with his staff. Both Moses and Aaron died and did not lead the Israelites into the promised land. Scripture tells us that Moses was 120 years old when he died. However, his eyes were not weak, nor was his strength gone. He died in Moab as the Lord had said. God buried Moses in the valley opposite Beth Peor. No one knows where Moses' grave is. The people did enter the promised land. We'll talk about that in another video. Till next time, peace be with you.